Hello, beautiful people of the internet. I'm your host today, Banchui, and welcome to my channel. Today, I wanted to do something different compared to my other videos. I wanted to tap into my childhood and explore the very first comic series I made as a kid. I made this comic around 2014 when I was in third grade, or maybe I miscalculated, but let's just say I made it in third grade. It was in 2014 nonetheless. In this video, I will be rewriting and redesigning the story and its characters. But before we get into the fun part, I think it's important that we sit together and have a look at the original story. So guys, before we go into the actual redesigning process, I feel like it's important to at least see what the comic was about, what did it look like back in 2014, 2013, somewhere around that time. But let's see what the story was actually about. I'm not gonna go through the entire sketchbook because that's not the point of the video, but if anyone is interested in seeing what the whole sketchbook looked like, please let me know. But I do have to warn that not all pages are filled, because I used to be someone who didn't fill all the pages back then. But let's get into the actual story. I honestly don't remember what the story used to be like or what it was about, so this is also like a first reaction from me in a long time. So let's get into it. Yeah, okay, it seems like this is the first page. I don't know if I can get the whole book to fit, so I think I'm gonna read it to you guys. Maybe it's like hard to understand from my handwriting back then, so I'm just gonna read it for you guys. Daniel, if you go, you will never see me. Look, I don't want you to forget. Mary, come on, it's your job as well. Mary, I'm sorry, it had to go this way. And then, oh, wait. Then Daniel pushes Mary. Then someone pushes, wait. Then someone pushes Daniel to the portal of forgetfulness, whatever that is. So let's go on the second page. Also, this says like page 2 here, but we're missing page 1, and I honestly don't know where that page is anymore. And then it continues. At the moment, Mary didn't see that Daniel was falling. Daniel was screaming, "If you jump into the portal, your life will be restarted for punishment." Then Daniel yells, "Mary, help me, I'm falling." Mary turns her head fast and starts running towards Daniel. And there's her jumping into the... I don't think she's jumping, she's just yelling, "No." And then she starts crying. She starts crying. I honestly don't even know where this is going. I'm actually confused. Many years before, I guess it means 8 years later. Let's continue from 8 years later. So these two scenes are happening like simultaneously. On this side, there's people celebrating Mary's birthday, and on the other side, there's like Daniel in his bed and his mom and I think sister trying to wake him up. And then it's finally continuing from here. Daniel, don't be lazy. It's your birthday. Also, they have the same birthday. Mom, I said no. Daniel, you better get cheered up. Tomorrow, it's your first day at school. And then there's Walter's school. This is honestly so bad. So I guess they arrive in the classroom. So let's continue from here. So class, we have a new student here today. Daniel, what do you want to tell? Oh my gosh, the grammar is... What about you? Tell us something about... Yeah, so basically she means like, what do you want to tell us about yourself? And then he says, I don't want to. And the teacher is shocked. And then this is Mary, like almost a full body of Mary. I like this actually looks decent. And then she's like, wow, cool, a new guy. And then they make eye contact. And then 1 minute later they sit together here. So this is them during lunch break. I don't know why she has like these ponytails here, but then when I drew her, she had like her hair opened. I guess we're not gonna question that. But yeah, she's looking for a place to sit and she sees Daniel in the corner and she asks him if she can sit next to him. And since he's taking his time to respond, she's like, oh my god, is he gonna say no? He stares at Mary and says, yeah. And then she's happy. I actually like this. This is actually cute. So this is like during class or something. The teacher is like, Daniel and Mary, you guys are partners. Now you can mingle for a while. And for some reason, both of them are blushing in this scene. Daniel's like hesitating and Mary is like, let's start telling about ourselves. Wow, she's like so extroverted. I could never. Daniel is like, oh, okay, so can I start? And then Mary is like, okay, Daniel. And Daniel is like, so first, and I guess he starts talking about himself, but I never explained it. And 5 minutes later and 2 hours later, I'm so smart for whatever this is. And then in this scene, they're like still partnering up and he's like, oh wow, she's so pretty and nice, and he's blushing and she's looking like confident and all that. And then Mary's like, wait, Mary. And she's like, what's up? And then she's like, you have vampire teeth? And then she's like, oh, I don't know, kind of. And he's like amazed and she just shows off her teeth. And I don't know, I thought this was like a cool scene back then. Like I thought having pointy teeth was a cool thing or something. And then he's like, awesome, I just have 2 regular human teeth. And she's like, wow, you're lucky. And then he's like, actually, I should say that to you. You're the most amazing person I've ever met. And then Mary's like all blushing and stuff. And she's like, thanks. Nobody has ever said that to me. So I guess the day ends and she goes home and she's like, for some reason, so happy. And she's like dancing. I'm home. And she's like singing. La 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 la. I'm so sorry. And then her mom catches her and she's like staring at her weird. What? You will be how, honey? Come in 30 minutes? I don't even understand what this means. Anyways, she went to her room and she's still laughing and she's like, hashtag swag, whatever this means. And I don't know what this is, but we're on page 10 going on 11. The following day, she's at school and she sees Daniel and she's like blushing and stuff. I guess she caught feelings after the first day. So she's telling herself to like act normal. They sit next to each other and she's like hardcore crushing on him. And then she's like, Daniel is like calling her like, Mary, Mary. And then she's like in her head, oh my god, Mary, be smart and say something. After 3 minutes, she gets up and pushes him for some reason. This is them without the hair, but this is Mary, this is Daniel. And I don't know what's going on. And then he's like pissed. And he's like, seriously, Mary, what's going on with you? Are you okay? And she's like, I mean, I guess she never responds, but after school, they're cool again. I guess that's how kids are, I guess. And she's like, my place at 4, wanna walk home? And he's like blushing and he's like, nah, I can't come today. I'm going with Ashley, but wanna walk with us? And then she's like, nah, I'm okay, go on. And then he leaves and she's still like blushing. Also, this was around the time like Undertale came out, and I was like, there's like a few references that I kind of like referenced in these characters. Like you can see the shorts. Yeah, these are Sansa's shorts. And if you go like here, this is inspired from Frisk's shirts. And yeah, these were low-key my Undertale OCs made into my own OCs. Anyways, let's continue. She goes home and she's like, I might ask him overnight. My parents won't be here for a few weeks, so he whatever that means. But I think it's kind of crazy that she's like already inviting him when she can't even talk to him normally. But sure, girl, go off. Oh no, this is the ripped page. I feel like I can slowly see my art style like improving as the more I continue to draw this, but this has a lot of text. I'm already crying. Anyways, she's calling Daniel. I don't know when they exchanged phone numbers, but okay, girl. And this phone is called iSmart. That was very smart of me. Anyways, Mary's like, this is the 4th time I tried calling. I think I should give up. And 5 minutes after, Daniel responds and she's like, oh, finally, hi, Daniel. Daniel's like, what's up? And she's like, I wanted to ask you to sleep over, to come to my place to sleep over, and you can invite 3 of your friends. And he's like, oh wow, I don't know, let me ask my mom. I'll call you back. After 5 minutes, he calls back and he's like, so my mom says yes, but, and then Mary's like, but what? Is it okay if I bring Ashley and Carlo? Yeah, it's okay, but who's Carlo? Oh, he's one of my best friends and our classmates. I think it's kind of crazy that Mary doesn't know who Carlo is if they were classmates for such a long time, and Daniel is like a newcomer. Maybe he's not as introverted as I wrote him to be, but whatever. And then Mary's like, oh, him. Okay, I remember. I don't think she remembers. And then she's like, come to my place at 15:15. Very specific. And then he's like, okay, thanks. Hangs up. And then she's like in the front of the mirror, like, to be continued, in this super cool pose. Let's go to the next chapter, I guess. Oh my god, I have to be careful that I don't rip this. And I guess he had his own like cool full body spread, but I wasn't good at drawing guys, so I think I just erased it, but I should have probably kept it. Okay, this is like Daniel's side of the story, and then he's like, I don't know, I've done this before. Why am I blushing? So on WhatsApp, he's like talking to Ashley and Carlo, and Ashley's like, so what did she say? And then Daniel was like, yeah, you guys are coming? And Carlo and Ashley were like, yes, of course. I don't know how it's 1904, but that's when they meet Daniel at Daniel's place. And somehow they jump back in time at 1714 at Mary's place. And then, you know, Mary welcomes them You know, I think it's funny. I never really drew Ashley or Carlo, so I don't actually know what they look like. I just drew them as stickman, but sure. Mary's like, put your stuff down here, and then she asks if they want to watch a horror movie. And 30 minutes later, they go to sleep, and then Daniel is like, Mary, I need to ask you something. And she pulls him aside, and they're trying to be quiet because the others are sleeping. Oh, this is also ripped. But then, so Mary's like blushing and all pissed, and she's like, Daniel, so what's the big deal? And Daniel is like, you see that you might think it's crazy, but, and then she's like nervous. She's like, something wrong, Daniel? Kinda or nothing. And then what is going on with this? For some reason he leaves without saying anything, and then she's like, did I do something wrong? Because I want to help you. And then he's like, he doesn't say anything, and they go to sleep, I guess. Anyways, the morning comes and Daniel wakes up with his hair all messed up. I think he goes to the hallway or something, and he sees Mary's room, and for some reason he goes in without asking her, and she's like in her sleepwear trying to look at clothes, and he's like, oh my gosh, I walked into her kind of, but not really changing. And then he starts blushing and stuff, and he's like nervous. Both of them are blushing, and like he's trying to get away or something, and he stumbles, and she catches him by his foot, and or was it her? She fainted. Anyways, he catches her, and she's shocked on the floor, and he's like, did I kill her? A few moments later, she's like, what just happened? And he's like on the floor kneeling down, and he's like apologizing. And she's like, seriously, that was embarrassing. And I guess this is Ashley, and she's like, don't worry about it. And this is like Daniel and Carlo in the back. Carlo is like, no, Daniel is still shocked and feeling apologetic, I guess. And I guess the sleepover ends. It was very underwhelming, but she's like, bye guys, and the other's like, bye. And then she's like, what's gonna happen now? Oh my god, I'm so glad I labeled these by numbers. This was like so hard. But she's like, huh, what now? And then she sees something on the floor, and she's like, what's this thing? And of course, the smartest thing, when you see an random object on the floor, you just pick it up and open it. So that's exactly what she did. And then it summons Lena, her guardian, and she's like, you must be Mary. And you guys know what this reminds me of? Miraculous Ladybug. You know why? Because I was also very into Miraculous Ladybug back in the days. So I feel like this is like reminding me of when Marinette found the small box thingy, and then she summoned Tiki with. This reminds me exactly of it. That's crazy. And Mary's like, yeah, that's me. Wait, how do you know my name? And then she's like, sweet, I will tell you a story. And then she starts telling this story. Let me read this off for you guys. I will tell you a story. Long time ago, this world had 6 protectors: Rose, Robin, Carlo, Ashley, Daniel, and Mary. They lived peacefully until war started between the Queen, Lucinda, and the SR Darko. What? Okay. At the end, Rose and Robin died. The 4 protectors were gone. Many years later, they were reborn. and you happen to be one of them. That's crazy. And then instead of freaking out, Mary's like, holy crap, that's cool. And Lena is like, so can you help me find the others? And she's like, you're asking me? Yeah, you're the protector, so will you? And then she's like, of course I'll help. And then she's like, I'm gonna go shower, so don't break anything. And then she's like, so boring. What if I turn into a human instead? And then she turns into a human and she's like amazed at her body. And she's like, oh, my body, it's so cool. My wings are down. Now I can explore. And then a while later, I guess, Mary comes out of the shower and she's like, Lena, how did you? And then she's like, oh my gosh, you already came out of the shower? And then she's like, yeah, what's with your body? And then Lena is like, nothing, why? She's confused and is like, how come you have a human sized body? And she's like, oh, magic. And then Mary's like, oh yeah, that's totally normal, haha. So next page, someone's like ringing the door and Mary is still in her towel and she's like, oh gosh, Lena, what do I do? And Lena's like, don't worry girl, I'll take my wings off and see who's there. And Mary's grateful. So Lena goes to the door and Lena greets the person at the door, and lo and behold, it's Daniel in winter clothes. I guess he was winter at the time. And he's like, is Mary home? And Lena's like, yes, are you okay? And the guy is like, yeah. And Lena yells, Mary, there's a boy at the door. And Mary tells her to let him in. And before she can tell him to come in, Daniel faints and Lena is shocked. Mary, he fainted, how? So the two end up bringing him to Mary's guest room here. And Mary is like worried. She's like, what do we do? And Lena doesn't know. And Mary demands that Lena heals him. And she's like, wait. Oh my god, I'm so confused. Oh, Lena says that she can heal people. And Mary's like, well, do it then. And Lena's like, no, you're gonna do it. So sad. Oh my god, I keep mixing languages. And then she's like, but how? Then she's like confused, like how can she do it? Like in this panel here. And for some reason she gets angry that Lena was telling her to perform magic. So she gets angry and summons flames. And Lena is shocked. She's stunned. She's like, flames already? Mary, you need to stop. And she's like trying to wave her hands around. And here she gets like a moment of clarity back and she's confused at what happened. Like she was possessed or something. And Lena is confused, like, you don't remember? And Mary says, remember what? And long story short, Lena says that she might have gotten possessed, and instead of being worried or anything, she's just like, oh, let's just forget about that. And yeah, I guess they just forget about it. And Mary says, I need to go. And Lena is like, did you think I would let you go this easy? And that's the end of chapter 1. And that's already oh my god, it continues. Oh my god, it continues. Also, if you see the bean mouth, I was also into Steven Universe. What a surprise. I would have never guessed. I feel like my art style back then was influenced by a bunch of different cartoons that I was watching and a bunch of different games I was playing at the times. So basically anything that was popular during 2014, 2015 times, I was probably influenced, and you can probably see the influences in this story. And in this end, Lena is like, why did I ever think this would have been easy? She's already like annoyed. But a few weeks later, she gets an upgrade in the art style, I guess, and her mom is telling her to calm down, and she's walking down. Oh my god, this is how I wrote beginning. Well, guys, be easy on me. English is obviously not my first language, and it was much harder when I was younger. But yeah, Lena is flying with Mary, and she's like, Mary, stop, you're gonna fall. And of course Mary stumbles and actually falls, and then I guess, like, oh my gosh, I'm already like so overwhelmed by this story. But Mary says that what a great start to start the day. Ow. And Lena says that, hey, soon we will get your training to start. And for some reason Mary doesn't look super excited, even though she was excited about it a few pages ago. And then she sees her mom in the kitchen, asking why she is in the kitchen. Probably to cook, but whatever. And I guess Lena goes into hiding since she's not in any of these panels. But the mom is like, good morning, Mary, the breakfast is in the kitchen and now go eat. And she's like looking pissed and stuff. And for some reason Mary asks if she can stay home, and the mom looks hella suspicious, and she's like asking why. And Mary is trying to pull the puppy eyes, but it doesn't work, so the mom forces her to go to school. Oh, I guess this is the end. And the mom is like, I'll drive you to school, and Mary looks super annoyed. So that's the end of this story. So what did you guys think of the original? Honestly, I cringed so much, but at the same time it was a lot of fun rereading that silly comic. But now we can finally get into the new version of this story. So let's get started. So Mary, or current Mary, is a 16-year-old high school student. She's a first year at Wells High School, and she lives with her single mom. In terms of her personality, she's an extroverted girl with a bubbly personality. She has the ability to make a lot of friends easily and basically knows everybody around her. She has a tendency to want to help everyone and anything if she can. And that kind of leads her to forget to take care of herself because she's always so focused on other people. Mary was born to her mom Alice and her dad she never came to know. Despite living in a single parent household, Mary has always been raised with a lot of love, making her into the bubbly and talkative girl people know her as. From birth, Mary had been born with unique features that made her a target of bullying amongst her peers. But Mary, having a mind of steel and the support of her mother, she never really cared about the comments made by other people. Mary had been born with sharp fangs and pale red eyes that made her stand out. Despite struggling to find herself beautiful, her mom always had encouraged her and helped her to embrace the parts that made her different, saying that it was something that made Mary uniquely beautiful. Though Mary did feel like her mom knew something she didn't, and she was hiding it from her on purpose. She had always wondered, why does her mom treat her features as normal when no one else did and when her herself didn't have them? Mary was always the type to dive head first into danger, often loving to explore abandoned buildings and filming videos there. Her hobbies have included collecting a bunch of vintage and antique objects that look pretty. So that was a bit of base information on Mary, and now we will be getting to the part that directly continues off from the original comic. One day after coming home from thrifting a bunch of cool trinkets, she leaves them on her table and goes downstairs. By the time she comes back up and opens her room, she notices that it's unusually dark and cold. She sees a light coming from her table. When she arrives close to it, she sees that one of the jewelry boxes that she had bought was shining. Afraid that her mom would come upstairs, she hesitantly reaches out to the box. Before she could touch it, the light grew stronger and blinded the whole room. When Mary finally ended up opening her eyes, there was a small fairy sitting on top of the box. Mary looked completely shocked. She looked around, confirming that there was no one else in that room with her to see what she had just seen. After thinking for it for a while, she carefully approaches the fairy with a pen. She pokes the little fairy to get her attention by quietly calling out to her. This leads the fairy to be annoyed. She blows the pen out of Mary's hand with some type of magic, which stunned Mary even more. The fairy then asks her if she's Mary, to which Mary reluctantly answers with, "How do you know that?" The fairy then introduces herself as Lena. She claims that she's from a faraway world that was destroyed a long time ago. To Mary, this was all so hard to understand. First, there was a little fairy type thing flying in front of her, talking about some fantasy-like world. It was too hard to believe. Lena then explains that when the world was still in one piece, the kind king of that world had appointed Lena and 2 other fairies to be the guides of the guardians of that world. However, while peace lasted for many years, it didn't last forever. There was someone who envied the king and the influence that he had over the people and the guardians. The sister of that king, Princess Lucinda, had longed for his position for years. She believed that it was rightfully hers, yet stolen from her. Behind his back, Lucinda and her right-hand man were conjuring knights out of darkness and the negative emotions of people. A few years passed and Lucinda had everything she needed to invade and dethrone her brother. When Lucinda's forces raided the castle, the 6 guardians Rose, Robin, Ari, Emilio, Daniel, and Mary used all they had to protect the castle and the king. Rose and Robin were slain in battle, but Lucinda used her magic to use the bodies of the 2 guardians as puppets, using them to attack the remaining guardians. The 4 remaining guardians escaped to the basement of the castle with the lead of the king. There, the king smiled and said that he could tell that the end was near. He knew that with the 5 alone, they couldn't beat his sister and the countless nights she had spent conjuring. The king thanked the guardians and the fairies, saying that he appreciated their efforts, but they weren't prepared for this at the moment. With his last efforts, he used his magic to first put Mary and Daniel to sleep, since they were the weakest in the group. Ari and Emilio tried to protest, but the king just apologized and told them that when the moment came, they would be guided back here. The remaining 2 didn't have any time to process this, and they were also put to sleep. Their bodies shifted into balls of light, and after the king chanted a spell, they vanished. Now it was now only the three fairies and the king remained. The king explained that the guardians were sent elsewhere and that their souls would awaken when it was safe and time for them to come back. He then asked if the fairies were willing to be there to guide the guardians once more when their time came. The fairies agreed, and the king summoned 3 jewelry boxes to contain the souls of the fairies. When they went inside, everything went blurry and they fell asleep. Lena then says that she doesn't know where the other 2 fairies were sent, and she isn't even sure if the other guardians are on the same planet as Mary. But it was clear that Mary had the soul of the previous guardian bearing the same name. Then asks Mary if she's willing to help her and fulfill the king's last wishes to save the Forgotten Kingdom. Mary was honestly speechless. She didn't know where to even begin with processing the whole thing. It was also weird and felt fake. She was a reincarnation? Yeah, right. Yet something felt so familiar about this story. It resonated with her. And despite loving risks, she told the fairy that she needed time to think. Lena was okay with that. But on that same night, a feeling came over Mary and she just felt like this was something she needed to do. She woke Lena up and told her she would help Lena to help her with her mission. Lena was beyond grateful. And that's pretty much it for her new story, and let's get into the design part. For the design, I wanted to keep Mary's design as close to the original. But honestly, the OG design didn't have much to go off from. For her civilian self, I kept Mary's long brown hair with a similar style. I added an antenna to her hair and little spiky things on the side to make her design silhouette more fun. One thing that made Mary recognizable were her blue eyes, but I changed this to red since it felt like the blue eyes didn't make her stand off that much. I did keep the blue as a highlight for her eyes at the very end. As for her clothes, a few keywords that I had were rustic, cottagecore, and dark academia. In my head, Mary seems like the type to wear whatever she feels like wearing on that day, having a very flexible sense of style, but she tends to lean towards more feminine clothing. For this ref sheet though, I gave her a simple sweater and a plaid skirt. I wanted the top to be similar to what she originally wore, but the blue I used in her early designs was a bit too bright for me, so I dimmed it down a little. As for her guardian uniform, I gave her 2 low ponytails with a cute ribbon. The original Guardian Mary had something similar. I think back then I was inspired by the anime version of Miraculous Ladybug at the time. You know, the one that never released. Looking at the outfit she had on the sketchbook, it was hard for me to tell what I was going for with that. To be honest, it was giving Girl Scout and I wasn't a big fan of that. And I didn't like how simple the outfit looked, so I decided to make something new. I wanted her to have a magical girl / witchy vibe, so I just happened to think of the Witch series. The comic series / the cartoon. Yep, that was my inspiration for her guardian outfit. I still wanted her to have more of a uniform look for her outfit, so I added some cool details on top of the outfit that she had on. Also, something fun but not so fun, I added some bandages on her arm. Since Mary's powers are based off of fire, I imagine that when she first discovered her magic, she wasn't able to fully control her fire and it caused her to burn her arms. Now she has to wear bandages and a fireproof glove made by the king to protect her when she uses her fire magic.
Oh, he's so cute! Who's a widow guy? Who's a widow guy? Is it you? Is it you? I am the chosen one! I knew it! I always always suspected there was a reason nobody understood my wacky antics back at home.
And that's it for Mary's redesign. Personally, I had a lot of fun redrawing her. Honestly, I also wanted to redesign the other characters, Daniel, Lena, and maybe the other friends, but I think this video is getting a tad bit long. Maybe on another video, I'll focus on them. On top of that, I really want to focus on the king and the forgotten kingdom that they were living in. Anyways, thank you so much for tagging along and watching me revisit this silly comic I made 12 years ago. And I really hope that you guys like the new version of it. Please let me know if you would like a part 2 or if you have any suggestions on what type of content you would like to see me do. Well, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye bye!